The following story discusses the brutal realities of World War II and the immense human cost of conflict. Viewer discretion is advised. The year is 1941. The world is ablaze, and on the Eastern Front, the Soviet Union is bleeding. German panzers, seemingly unstoppable, tear across the vast plains, their Luftwaffe raining down terror from above. Cities fall, armies are encircled, and hope itself seems a luxury the Soviets can no longer afford. But in the heart of this inferno, a desperate need arose, a cry for a weapon that could stand against the tide. Not just another plane, not just another tank, but something impossible: a flying tank. How did a nation on the brink of collapse forge such a beast? A machine that would not only survive the hell of the Eastern Front, but ultimately help turn the tide of the greatest war in human history. This is the story of the Il-2 Sturmovik. To truly grasp the significance of the Il-2, you first have to understand the sheer, unadulterated terror of the early war years for the Soviets. Operation Barbarossa, Hitler's invasion, caught them tragically unprepared, despite intelligence warnings. Their air force, while numerically large, was largely obsolete, and their ground forces were being decimated by the relentless German blitzkrieg. The German Junkers Ju-87 Stuka dive bombers, with their terrifying sirens, became symbols of aerial supremacy, while their tanks rolled on with impunity, leaving a trail of destruction and despair. The Soviet High Command knew they needed something revolutionary, something to counter the overwhelming German advantage. Their existing ground attack aircraft were simply too vulnerable, easily shot down by even light anti-aircraft fire or the swift German fighter planes. What was required was an aircraft that could fly low, deliver a devastating payload, and crucially, survive the onslaught. It needed to be armored like a tank, yet possess the agility, however limited, of a plane. It was a contradiction in terms, a designer's nightmare, a concept many deemed utterly impossible. Enter Sergei Ilyushin, a brilliant, tenacious aircraft designer. Ilyushin had been toying with the idea of an armored ground attack aircraft since the mid-1930s. He envisioned a plane where the pilot, the engine, and all vital systems were encased within a single, continuous armored shell, a concept utterly unheard of at the time. This wasn't merely about bolting on a few armor plates. This was about integrating the armor as a fundamental structural component of the aircraft itself. It was radical, it was audacious, and many of his contemporaries openly scoffed, declaring it an engineering fantasy. The initial prototypes, designated TCKB-55 and later BSH-2, faced immense skepticism, not just from fellow engineers, but from the highest echelons of power. They were heavy, they were slow, and critics argued they would be easy targets for the superior German fighters. Even Stalin himself, known for his brutal pragmatism and impatience, initially questioned the design, demanding a lighter, faster aircraft. But Ilyushin, with a quiet, unyielding stubbornness, pressed on. He understood a fundamental, brutal truth. A ground attack aircraft that couldn't survive its mission was utterly useless, no matter how much ordnance it carried. Its primary mission was to return, to fight another day. The early tests were fraught with peril. The initial single-seat design, preferred for its lighter weight and simplicity, left the pilot dangerously exposed from the rear. Pilots, already facing overwhelming odds in the skies, were being shot down from behind by German fighters with alarming regularity. The cries from the front lines were desperate, echoing through the halls of power. "Give us a two-seater. Give us a gunner." The engineers, working in factories often hastily relocated deep behind the Ural Mountains, under constant threat of bombing, and with dwindling resources, had to adapt. And quickly. Every piece of metal, every hour of labor was a struggle against time and the encroaching enemy. The stories filtering back from the front were grim, painting a picture of relentless devastation. Pilots in less armored Soviet aircraft were flying what amounted to suicide missions, their planes shredded by flak and fighters within minutes of engaging. The ground troops, huddled in their trenches, watched helplessly as their desperately needed air support was swatted from the sky. The need for the Il-2 wasn't just strategic, it was deeply, profoundly human. It was the hope for survival for the soldiers on the ground, a desperately needed shield against the relentless German advance. The engineers knew this. The factory workers, many of them women and children, knew this. Every rivet, every weld, every piece of armor plating was a desperate prayer for victory, a silent plea for their loved ones on the front. The two-seat variant, the Il-2M, was rushed into production, a testament to the urgency of the situation. A rear gunner, armed with a powerful 12.7mm machine gun, provided a vital, though often terrifying, defense against pursuing fighters. The armor, up to 12mm thick in critical areas, could shrug off small arms fire and even some light cannon rounds. A truly revolutionary capability. Its wings carried a fearsome array of rockets, bombs, and powerful cannons. It was ugly, it was crude, but it was tough. It was a weapon born of necessity, forged in the crucible of total war. A desperate answer to a desperate situation. And then it arrived. Not in a trickle, but in a flood. Factories working around the clock, often with women and children replacing men sent to the front, churned out Il-2s at an astonishing, almost unbelievable rate. By 1943, it was not just a significant aircraft, it was the most numerous ground attack aircraft in the world, a testament to Soviet industrial might and sheer determination. Its impact on the battlefield was immediate and devastating. German soldiers, who had grown accustomed to Soviet aircraft being easy prey, suddenly faced a new, terrifying adversary. The Il-2 would sweep in low, its powerful engines roaring, its cannons spitting fire, its rockets tearing into tank formations with brutal efficiency. It wasn't elegant, it wasn't graceful, but it was brutally effective. German troops began to call it the Bettenflugzeug, the concrete airplane, or more ominously, the Schwarzer Tod, the Black Death. To them, it was an unstoppable armored menace, a harbinger of destruction. Pilots, initially wary of its heavy handling and lack of maneuverability, soon learned to love its incredible resilience. Stories emerged from the front lines of Il-2s returning to base riddled with holes, chunks of wing missing, engines sputtering, but still flying, still bringing their crews home. The armor, once a point of contention and doubt, proved its worth time and again, saving countless lives. It gave pilots the confidence to press their attacks, to fly lower, to stay longer over targets, knowing their flying tank could take a beating and keep fighting. The Il-2 became the spearhead of Soviet ground attacks, softening up enemy positions, destroying tanks, and disrupting vital supply lines. It was instrumental in key, brutal battles like Kursk and Stalingrad, where its ability to destroy German armor was absolutely critical to halting the Nazi advance. It wasn't just a machine, it became a powerful symbol of Soviet defiance and resilience. It was the embodiment of their unyielding will to fight, to endure, and ultimately, to win. Over 36,000 Il-2s were built throughout the war, making it the most produced military aircraft in history. Each one a testament to the desperate ingenuity and immense sacrifice of a nation fighting for its very existence. The Il-2 Sturmovik didn't win the war single-handedly. No single weapon ever does. But it played an absolutely pivotal, undeniable role. It was the answer to a desperate prayer, a solution born from the most dire circumstances imaginable. It showed the world that innovation isn't always about sleek design or cutting-edge technology, but sometimes about sheer, unyielding practicality, brutal effectiveness, and the courage to build something that simply works under unimaginable pressure. Its legacy is etched forever into the annals of military aviation. It proved the concept of the heavily armored ground attack aircraft, influencing designs for decades to come, right up to modern close air support platforms. But beyond the technical specifications, the Il-2 represents something deeper, something more profound. It's a story of human ingenuity, of engineers and factory workers pushing the boundaries of what was thought possible, of pilots flying into the jaws of death with a machine they trusted with their lives. It's a testament to the power of a collective will to survive and overcome. It reminds us that even in the darkest hours, humanity can forge tools of incredible power and purpose, driven by the most profound emotions: fear, hope, and the desperate, burning desire for victory. What other wartime innovations do you think were born out of sheer desperation and went on to change the course of history? Or perhaps, what's another impossible design that became a brutal, effective reality? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I love hearing your perspectives on these incredible stories of human ingenuity and resilience. If you found this story compelling, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the machines and moments that shaped our world. You can also check out our playlist on World War II history for more untold stories of courage and innovation. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.